Hello, friends and followers. So here before me is the National Company HRO 500, and I'm still slogging away at this thing. I found that I can't get enough voltage through the 4.75 IFs to compare with the reference 4.75 and cause the DC amp to turn off the band scan. So that's a problem. I'm still not sure the comparator in here works correctly, but anyway, check this out. So it seems that this chart of frequencies is pretty useful in the manual. And what is this chart of frequencies? Well, high frequency oscillator, which is basically your local oscillator. Synthesizer tuning, which is what's in the little tuning window when you spin the knob for spectrum. And spectrum generator output. So this is your spectrum generator here. Make sure it's on the correct band segment 1 through 5 before you attempt this operation. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to find a sweet spot, meaning that if I'm on this band 10 through 20, which I am now, 10 through 20, and I'm have the scope coupled into one of the later IF cans, I want to make sure I have a strong 4.75 IF through here, because when the HF oscillator combines with the output of this guy, which is a spectrum, only one of the spectrum signals really matches well. A few will match, but only one will be of significant amplitude to cause a lock. So that's kind of a scam, but that's how it works. So let's do that. So I've been watching the HF oscillator here through my counter, and I'm watching the IF through the scope. And so what I want to do is get that IF signal through these cans as high as possible, because at the comparator, this crystal seems like it's a pretty strong signal, and so this signal has to be strong. I think I read in the book it's got to be 4 volts peak to peak or something. So 4 volts peak to peak AC. So anyway, to do that, I loosened up the little nuts that control this variable capacitor. This variable capacitor selects which one of the harmonics that is the strongest. So all I'm going to do is just turn this, without turning everything else, get a pair of pliers and turn this shaft on this capacitor to select the best harmonic for the local oscillator. So the local oscillator, so I'm trying to, go on 15 here. It says 14 there. It doesn't really matter where I go. I just want these to be, I want this to be matched up with this. The HF oscillator is here. This is here for the harmonic generation selection, and these are tied through by a string. They're locked, supposedly. So at any rate, let's set this, say, to 15 or something. And that's not exact, but it's pretty close. So looking here then, I'm seeing that wave. So I can tweak this to get it the highest as possible. Okay, so I'm turning the synthesizer to peak that out. And now I'm going to select the best harmonic by simply turning the shaft, because these little nuts are loose and the shaft can turn. So let's look at the best harmonic. That'll be the highest wave here. That one's about that high. And what else? There's nothing else. So how was I doing this? I think I want to go to the next. I want to dial this down. Go to the next resonance and then tweak this and see how high I can get it. About that high. So maybe this simply matches by that method, period, and it won't get any better. So if I go to the next one, and I try and match it now, will it get just as high? Or can I find another resonance? I can't. Okay, well maybe that works. So maybe that's the secret, just match them like that. All right, so maybe we just match these like this. Just get the best signal no matter where we are on the IF. That might be reasonable. It doesn't really matter where we are, just get the best signal. So I would think go in the middle. There's 15 right there, so I'm in the middle. And now if I match this up for high signal on the IF, and then lock it with a little lock wrench here if I can reach one of those, which I really can't, but let's get this one here if I can reach it and lock it. Let's see if that will hold true. Actually, I'm gonna pick a lower one. Let's go lower to get that thing cranking back, because I can't tighten it. So if I turn this counterclockwise to maybe 13, there's 13 right there. All right, let's actually, okay, so for 13, let's do it correctly. So for 13 here, see 13, I want to get a 16.25 local HF oscillator. 16.25. Oh, look at that. Damn thing's close. 16.25. So I finally got this thing kind of dialed in. 16.25. 2425. Okay, so it's 16.25, which is where HF injection is supposed to be. Now we're going to go for the max gain on this harmonic generator and see if we can get it. Little peak there, not much of a peak. Wonder why that is. So I got one peak, that's it. It's not very good. My harmonic generator is at 16.25. I'm sorry, my local oscillator. So let's take this thing down to 16.250. And that should be reasonable. That's a little jumpy. Strings. Okay, well anyway, it's close. 16.250. 16.250 is 13. There's my 13. And let's peek this guy again. We're at 16.250. And that's all I'm gonna get for a peak. So I believe my IFs are tuned, but let's crank the mixer a bit if I can find my tweaking tool. Let's crank the mixer. This mixer may need some cranking, I don't know. Let's see if we can find the tweaker tool. I've been doing this for hours and days. I'm so burned out doing it that things get lost. Can't find things. There's a little tweaker tool here somewhere. And if I lose it, I'm dead in the water. I don't see it. Little black tweaker tool on the floor, no. Under the radio, turn it off. Look under the radio for the tweaker tool. It's not there. Well, so much for that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm wondering, I was careful in aligning the IFs with 14.75 megahertz. I didn't align the mixer because I couldn't. So it's critical to get the mixer correct. And I can't find the effing tool because I put it somewhere stupid. Here it is. Damn it. Good. All right. We finally got the tool. That transistor wants to fall off the table. No, not this time. Okay, we're back. We're gonna tweak the mixer for best. And the mixer was fine. So I don't think we're gonna get any better here. This one here is pretty sensitive. It's hard to turn too. Oh, look at that. So isn't that interesting? So you want to get the IF, you want to get this thing accurate to the chart, I suppose. Well, that's nice. So we want to go with 1625, right? 1625 is 13. There's 13. 1625. Get this thing to 1625. 1625. Close enough. Pretty close, but not that great. 1625. And I have the sweep transistor pulled out, of course, because I'm tweaking. Okay, 1625. Get the best IF. Okay, that's that. This one, I don't think I can do much with it. Let's see. Yeah, that one is at the end where the comparator is, so we're not going to worry about it right now. But there's the mixer. Okay, so anyway, a little bit of improvement. Now, we're at 1625. Let's crank this spectrum generator to get it the best peak, and then tighten it up, see if it'll work. Okay, that's as good as it gets. So why is that? I want more of a peak. If I turn the HF oscillator now off a bit, it improves there. Why? What if I go for peak here, because I need peak? I just start peaking it to see where it likes to be for max signal. Okay, that's all I'm going to get out of that. So at 1626, it seems fairly happy. Let's take it through a whole range here. Nope, that's the peak right there. So I'm going to go back to 1625 where it should be and do it that way. 1625 at 13 megahertz on the dial. On the synthesizer dial, 1625. Okay, 1625. There it is. Let's get this guy maxed. That's it. Turn it off. Tighten it up. See if it'll work. Let's tighten this one up and see if it'll do it. So now we want to see if it's consistent throughout the synthesizer range. Tighten this thing up. It's a little capacitor, so it doesn't have to be that tight. But anyway, you don't want it slipping, right? There's two of these too. I'm just tightening one of these for now. All right, that's tight enough for the demo. So we've tightened that, put this over here, turn the radio back on. And where's our peak? I don't see a peak. 1625, we're on. There's the peak. Look at that. So yeah, I replaced this blocking transistor. I put a silicon transistor in there, and I was getting more out of the spectrum generator that way. Yeah, it seems like some of the transistors are tired or something. I don't know. This one blew up, so I put a new transistor in there. This one wasn't working, so I put silicon in here and hoping for the best, just threw them in there. All right, so let's take this through some paces here. There's 13 right there. And if I go to 12 and a half, it should peak. Yeah, it's peaking. It's not a great peak, but. So I got a peak there. Another one, 12 and a half, so that seems weird. They aren't strong, but they're there. This may not be enough to lock. I don't think it is enough. So I have nothing here at 10 at all. So I don't think this is right. How does that little guy look there with the plates meshing? So this may be a failure. This idea I had. I'm not getting much resonance here at all. There's some there. There's some there. So I still believe there's a perfect resonance of these things. So if I just go here and it's 12 and a half, I stay right here and I untweak this thing and just give it a spin. Let's see what we can do with that. Untweak it. And just try and go for max. Not worrying about anything else. See if that'll work. So undo that. And just try and go for something bitter. Nope, that's all we got. Well, let's believe we did it right then. Let's believe it's right. It was on the right frequency in the book. As long as this switch is in the right position, I think we're okay. So that is that. Tighten that up now. Will that hold for other bands? The only band I can make work in this thing is this band, as far as something that works. I think the fiberglass rod in the band switch is all screwed up, and I have a metal one on order. I don't know if it'll work, but this one I think is the only band that works right now, for whatever reason. The only one I can get 4.75 IF to work, and if I jiggle this, it'll fade out. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow, it came back to full power. Son of a bee. This thing is so screwed up, it's unbelievable. So look at how bad this is. Okay, so now we got some juice. So is that going to affect my tuning? Probably. Ah, damn radio. Okay, so undo this again and peak it. Yeah, this radio, it's sort of a real junk pile. I don't know how this radio got so abused, but it's abused. Nope, we're not gonna get any better. So let's call it good where it is. So I guess the HF oscillator and the harmonic generator, spectrum generator, are somewhat synchronized now. Some guy was saying this is a real pain on a blog, AM phone blog or something. Anyway, I'm documenting the pain for you. How's that? So, monitoring 4.75 through the strip. When we get strong 4.75, it'll beat with this one and it'll steer via the DC amp in here, and then that will go down to the varactor and hopefully lock this baby. But that seems far in the future. This has been so screwed up. Okay, so let's just go through the synthesizer now and see what happens. Got the hiccups. Probably from stress. Okay, 12.5. And peaking about there. 12. Nice, wow, nice peak at 11.5. Nice peak at 11. 10.5 is low. 10 is really, well, 10's there. It's not great. It's not linear, that's for sure. There's 13.5. 14 is strong. 14.5 is strong. 15 is strong. 15.5. 16 is stronger. Okay, well, anyway. Which one of these is the strongest for a good lock? They taper off toward the end here. So 15 is pretty strong. Yeah, somebody was saying they don't lock in all parts of the band, so I can see that. So there's 15. What do we got here for a signal on this thing? Ugh, 10 millivolts, that's nothing. This signal's crap. So 0.1 volt, we have no signal here at all, really. It's real rubbish. It's a rubbish signal. And anyway, so let's see if it amplifies through here. So yeah, this transistor crapped out on me and I couldn't get through it. I put a silicon in there, but that might not give me enough gain. Just bad impedance, bad bias. That's an NPN, I think. No, it's a PNP. Okay, so after this can, I can measure it at the beginning of these diodes right here. I tried replacing these diodes and they didn't make much difference. I put the germaniums back in. Let's go here. Okay, well, I got some signal there. What do you know? So that is pretty ducky strong, I think. So what do we got here? It's still not very good. Oh, there's a 0.1 signal. It's still too weak. Okay, well, can we dial it up? Let's see. Tweaker tool. Lost the tweaker tool again. Thinking about trying to crank this can here. The trouble I have with this stuff is I never put tools in the correct place and I can't find them. Okay, here it is. I just set them down and go on to the next thing. Okay, let's tweak this now for... This is a funky little can too, as far as the scope goes. I'm really cranking it and nothing's happening at all. Oh, there it goes. Something's happening there. So I'm going to guess that that's the point of maximum interference. So if we put the scope here, we'll see the all-powerful reference signal 4.75, which, yeah, of course, it's super strong. So that reference signal .2, okay, .4, .6, it's about a volt, I suppose. Yeah, is it a volt? It's roughly a volt. So I probably need a volt to combat that thing. And I'm not going to get a volt through this thing. So I probably got to put germanium here, germanium there to get a volt. I don't know. But it's not looking too good. Anyway, if I go back here where my IF signal is from the... Yeah, it's really weak. It's just weak and pitiful, so... I don't think we're going to do much with it. Tweak that, not much. Yeah, I don't think these are going to help. So if I now bounce through this thing, I don't think it's really going to matter. There's no effect at that range there. Oh, a little bit. So you want to see this thing interfering, because what you're trying to do is when you hit a point of resonance, you're trying to get this thing to interfere, have a beat note, and then have it lock. So you want to have this effective reactor, and it's sort of doing something. I think it needs more strength. So maybe I am getting there. I'm not sure why it's all chewed up looking there. I guess it is because the this thing puts out some funky stuff when it's running. Let's see, I'll show you that waveform. It's really, really weird. Okay, so that waveform is here. And that thing puts out some funky monkey. Yeah, there it is. So that thing is putting out some real funky stuff. And I think that's in the manual how that looks, but how do you sync on that? I don't know. Anyway, that may be why this thing is so strange looking. So if we go back over here, this is right before the DC amp. There's an inductor that takes out the AC on this thing because there's some RF in here. So this RF is mostly from the reference oscillator. And when I tune my synthesizer, I don't see anything. There's no effect. So that's kind of bad. I don't think that's going to... No, I can't lock like that. I should see some interference there. So I'm still in the hurt locker here. I probably need a lot more power through this thing to make it do anything decent. Oh, wait a minute. It's probably because it's damn switch here again. Let's see. No, that's not it. Any rate, it's a tale of woe. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to go anytime soon. Probably if I put some germanium transistors back in these two, I don't know, maybe that would work, or I bias those correctly. I need more gain. I just don't have enough gain. So there's my IF signal coming in from the HF oscillator mated with the... So you can see that I can get something through it, but what kind of gain do I have there? 50 millivolt, 0.1 volt. So I got 0.2 volt coming through there, which it needs to be a lot more. Okay, so coming out of here, what do I have? I'm not getting any gain through that transistor at all. It's unity. So that's the problem right there. I need some gain. I need some gain, man. And that's even worse. So I think I just got a blown transistor there, and I'm not gonna get anything until I order some transistors. So maybe that's what we're gonna do here. I guess I can try and put that thing back in there and see what happens. Okay, so which one is this? Is that the right one? This is a what? It's a that. 2N2672. I think it's below now. 2N2672. 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 N2672 Q308. That's the IF. Okay, where's Q308? Good old Q308. They have a transistor list on this thing somewhere. It's in the manual. Q308, I think it is. Is that Q308? Sorry, it's getting late. Getting tired. Q308. That is Q308. That's the last IF. Q308. Manual. What's a Q308? I think mine's blown, but let's see what's going on here. Q308, where are you? Q308. Q308. Q308 is a what? Q308. Doesn't say what it is. What the hell? Q308. Q308. Okay, there they are. 309. There's a lot of them. 2N2429. It's a 2429. 2N2429. It's not it. I'm not sure where that thing went. Any rate, that's probably the problem with my situation here. So, long video, maybe not that useful for you, but if you have one of these, heaven help you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.